Welcome to Sinful's Horror Stories. Before we start the video, I want to let you guys know that I just released some official Sinful merchandise. The link to my Teespring account will be in the description box below. Be sure to check out everything Sinful. Sit back, relax, stay sinful. Story number 1. 10 years ago, I was fresh out of college, trying to figure out what to do next. I went to college on an athletic scholarship, and I was just as interested in enjoying my college experience as I was in completing it. I ended up with a communications degree, average grades, and no experience. I was working as a door host or bouncer at a small bar or lounge in a casino. I worked at said bar Wednesday through Sunday from 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. My job was to greet people coming in, check IDs, break up fights, and remove people who got out of hand, while maintaining a professional and friendly manner. There was a man that started coming into the bar on the off nights, Wednesday or Thursday when it was slow. He would come in both nights 1 week, then not come in again for 3 weeks or so. And then he would do the same thing, always on the off nights. Usually he would talk to me a couple of times throughout the night when he was there. Just normal small talk. It was never awkward. He was always well dressed in a suit, or at least a button-up shirt and slacks. He was clean cut, had an athletic build, no visible tattoos or piercings, and a shaved head. I'm not into men, but I would guess he was a good-looking man in his late 30s. Well, the last night I saw him, the conversation was a bit different. He came in on an off night like normal, and eventually came up to talk to me by the door. The conversation started out normally, but eventually he asked me if I enjoyed what I did at the bar. I did the typical, "It's not that bad, it's mostly easy." He asked me how long I planned to be a bouncer, asked if I thought I made enough money, and eventually dragged out of me that no, I didn't particularly enjoy being a bouncer, and didn't know what I was going to do with my future. At this point, he looked me straight in the face and said, "Well, you could kill people." While maintaining our eye contact, I paused and waited for some type of joke, or smile, or something that would turn this into a failed attempt at a joke. Nope, nothing. He seemed 100% serious. There was no smile, no joke, nothing but him staring at me, waiting for me to respond. At this point I told him the first thing that came to my mind. "I'm pretty sure I don't have the skill set for what I think you're suggesting." He said, "Yeah, but you could learn all of that. Think about it. You could travel, work once or twice a month and get paid really well." While strangely at that point in my life it was an intriguing idea, I immediately thought of some sort of police setup and all the shadowy hitman handler betrayal I've seen in every hitman movie ever. I told him no. "No, I don't think that's for me." He then said okay and left. I worked there for another year and never saw him again. Story number 2. This all happened a little under 3 years ago. I live in a very small house with 2 other roommates for college. Our house keys are kind of finicky with the door locks, so for some totally not smart reason, we decided it would be a good idea if we all kept our windows unlocked, so we could get back in the house if for some reason locked ourselves out. These were windows with 2 latches that you can easily slide open, and there were no screens either. I'm sound asleep one night when I wake up to some rustling in my room, around 3 to 3:15 a.m., and see a blinding phone light shining in my eyes from the foot of my bed. I'm so disoriented at this point that I can't even think straight. All of a sudden, this strange person starts asking me for his money that I supposedly owed. I was fucking terrified. I kept repeating over and over that I didn't have any money or didn't owe him anything, but he kept insisting. I told him, "No, I don't have anything. I don't even know who you are." This whole ordeal took place within 5 minutes, but it felt like an eternity. I had to literally construct every sentence I said because how the hell would I know what this guy was going to do? I didn't know if he had a weapon or something. I felt like I was negotiating for my life. He eventually crawled back out the window on his own. I jumped out of the bed so fast, slammed the window shut and locked it. I woke my roommates to tell them what happened, and I had to sleep in my roommate's room on his floor because I was so scared to go back in my room, and I had work at 9 a.m. the next day. The man even tried getting into my other roommate's room because when I talked to them about it, he said that his dog perked up and that he just felt like something was off. He got up to check the window, and it was slightly opened. I guess the intruder saw the lights on and decided to back out and hit my room instead. I even saw his greasy handprints on my window the next morning. To this day, I still get paranoid in my house at night. I hate sleeping alone when my roommates are gone. We've gotten an alarm system since then, which has made things a lot more safe around here. So yeah, creepy asshole who thinks it's okay to break into people's bedrooms at 3 a.m. Let's not meet again. Story number 3. This event happened almost a year ago. My girlfriend and I were house sitting, getting tours of different houses with our real estate agent. On one of these tours, my girlfriend and the agent were talking amongst themselves in the living room. I was going through the house doing my own thing, inspecting sinks, cracks, goblin holes, you know. In order to access the yard, I had to enter through a side door from the garage, as the agent didn't have the access to the back door. The yard looked amazing, so I naturally went to go explore the backyard. It was great, sunroom and a shed, with these awesome pebbles going around the perimeter. Next to the garage door was a fence, which you could see through the kitchen window, which leads into the yard. I'm making my way back into the house through the garage, and I lock it because of people that do crimes. I'm in the kitchen joining in on the conversation my girlfriend and the agent were having. Then all of a sudden I hear the sound of the wooden fence door scrapping and shutting. I asked them if they heard anything, which they didn't, of course. I didn't want to freak anyone out, but I stayed on alert. Sure enough, I catch movement through the corner of my eye. I saw someone dart across the kitchen window to the backyard. All of a sudden I hear a rattling sound, and I see a homeless man looking in. The agent calls her supervisor and confirms that there was no scheduled work to be done, or that needed to be done. The guy keeps shaking the door trying to get in, runs back around and tries the garage side door. The man still cannot get in, but he doesn't stop. He keeps trying more doors. If it wasn't for the iron bars, he could have easily gotten in through the glass back door. At this point, he's even more mad, keeps trying to convince us to let him in. We make our way to the front door and the guy follows. Now he's blocking the entrance. My girlfriend and agent, a small lady, kind of push it on me to do something about it. So now I go yell at the guy through the window, get him to back off long enough for everyone to get into their cars and haul ass out of there. The entire time he's waiting on the driveway, threatening to call the cops on us for not letting him in. I was already on edge, ready to use the 300 pounds of mass I've been cultivating on him. Luckily, he saw that it wasn't just two females and didn't try anything. I'm not sure why he didn't just knock in the first place. If he was serious and really was a contractor, why try and sneak through the back door? Or why not call and make a legitimate appointment? Needless to say, we didn't buy the house. So crazy homeless man who turned me off from an awesome yard. Let's not meet again. Story number 4. One night about 10 years ago, I was driving home from downtown to my parents' house, which is 5 miles outside of downtown. As I was leaving the area where I had parked my car, it was 1 a.m., and nobody was really on the road but me and a few other cars. I go through a series of turns leading to the road directly back to my parents' home. This one car has stayed behind me the whole time. It took me a couple of minutes to really notice. I keep heading home and decide to take a turn off the normal route to see if the car follows. It does. I'm officially scared. I get back onto the main road and he's still behind me. My parents' house is coming up, but my gut instinct tells me that I won't be able to park and get inside the house quickly enough to be safe, and I don't want this guy to know where I live. I reluctantly decide not to turn on my blinker after I slow down to turn into the driveway. I quickly increase my speed and keep heading down the road as quickly as possible. He's clearly tailing me. It's do or die time. Survival instincts have kicked in. It's funny how you fear these blanket warnings as a kid and then remember them when you need to. Suddenly I remembered when you're being followed, get to a police station or a brightly lit place with people. I reached a stoplight where I made a left turn, with a police station coming up on the right. Of course, living in a small town, the station wasn't open at that time. Right next door was a McDonald's open late night, so I turned in there and got in line at the drive-thru. As I was waiting in line, he drove past my car. It was a creepy older white male in his late 50s who glared at me like a piece of meat he wanted to devour, one way or another. It was bone-chilling. He drove past me and then was loitering near the exit waiting for me. I let him go past, then immediately reversed my car and gunned it out of the entrance of McDonald's, back down the road about 80 miles an hour on a 40-mile-per-hour street. Since he had parked at the exit, assuming I was really ordering food as part of my scheme, he didn't notice quickly enough that I had reversed out of the parking lot. I was already weaving through a different route home, and it was impossible for him to find me again unless it was truly my time to go. Turns out it wasn't. He never found me again, and I made it home safely but definitely shaken up. I always wonder what would have happened if anything went any differently, and honestly it feels good to know I can trust my instincts in dangerous times. Story number 5. I was 9 years old at this time, and my brother John was 4. We were at the mall. Our mom would look for things to buy and didn't pay much attention to us. That left me looking out for John and holding his hand all the time so he doesn't get lost. The mall was crowded, and I had a hard time keeping up with our mom. At one point she got furious with me with falling behind. Tried to explain to her I was keeping an eye on John. She told me not to worry about him and just keep up with her, and John would follow. As a child, I assumed as she told me that I shouldn't worry about him. After just 2 minutes, we lost John. My mom was panicking and rushing through the mall trying to find him. As she didn't keep track of him, I remembered the last place I had seen John. We rushed back there and John wasn't there. I took a chance as my mom was searching other areas to look for John on my own. I saw John crying up against the wall, and there was this tall, dirty man pulling him by the hand as John was hugging the pole next to him. I screamed out to my mom and she came running. Upon seeing her arriving, the man made a run for it. Later, we were told by security that the man had been arrested, but that these things happen occasionally around that mall, and that we should take extra precautions, and this man was not the only man that tried to do this. I don't know if I should take credit for stopping him taking John, as all I did was call out for my mom, but you guys can decide who should take credit for it. And to the man that tried to take him, let's not meet again. Story number 6. I never thought I'd post another story on here, but here we are. As I mentioned in my last post, I'm an insomniac. 2 weeks ago I felt that I would not be able to go to sleep, so I decided to take a walk to relax around 12:30 a.m. Considering that I'm 6'2", 250-pound man in decent shape, I never felt scared to walk at night, thinking that people would be more scared to see me than the opposite. 10 minutes into my walk, I got a chill down my spine. Something was not right. I glanced around me and noticed someone on the other side of the street wearing a hoodie and walking. I tried to shake it off, telling myself it's just another insomniac, but the chill would not go away. Something was off about this guy. I started walking faster, and I decided I would cut my walk short and go back home. But the man kept pace. He even started to walk faster than me. At that point, I was sweating like crazy, but I went faster. 2 minutes had passed, and I turned my head again to get a better look at the man. That's when I noticed someone else catching up on my side of the road also, wearing a hoodie. My brain went into panic mode and I started running as fast as I could. Soon after, I heard their footsteps catching up. At that point, I was near my house, so I knew the layout by heart. I jumped over a bike rack and went down into a dirt trail that went to a small forest near my home. At that point, I knew they were still following me, but were not right on my tail since there was a delay before they hit the dirt path. My lungs were on fire and I didn't care. I diverged from the main path and went into the forest running through the trees. I found a smaller path that led to one of my neighbor's backyards. I ran up to the other side of the street, to my house, turned the corner, went through the bushes around my house, and entered using my back door. While my whole body was on fire, I peeked through my window and saw them run past my house. I was safe. I then saw something that made my body go from burning to freezing in a single moment. Both of them had knives in their hands. Thank you guys for watching. Please be sure to leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe for future videos. And if you miss it during the video intro, I have some Sinful merchandise for you guys. If you're looking to pick up a hoodie, tank top, coffee mug, anything like that, click on the link below in the description box. I have the link to my Teespring account there. I know you guys won't be disappointed. And like I always say, stay sinful.